Skipping Through Theatre podcast with Nathan and Maddie.
Hello, and welcome back to the Skipping Through Theatre podcast.
Today our special guest is Imogen Leaver. She's been in the industry for quite some time now. Some of her credits include Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Zendaya's stunt double in Spider-Man Far From Home, and her most recent movie, Deadpool And Wolverine. We are so pleased to have her with us for today's very special episode. So without further ado, let's begin!
Hi Imogen, we're so happy to have you on the podcast today. How are you doing?
Hi, both of you. It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I'm very well, thank you. How are you both?
I'm good, thank you. So we will start by asking you some questions which will be talking about your life throughout the industry of film and how you got into it. Right, let's get to the first question. What inspired you to get into the film industry?
It wasn't actually like a very linear road for me, getting into the film industry. I guess it was, you know, so I've always loved film and TV growing up, but never really considered that as a job or career option for me, just not having any family within the entertainment industry. And I initially was modelling and then decided I would start acting lessons and go into acting. And then I had an audition to be a body double for Catherine Waterston on Fantastic Beasts. And it was through that I sort of, you know, discovered the world of film, fell in love with it, met all the different departments, including the stunt team, who didn't have a stunt double for the actress at the time. So I had a little experience of what that could be then, and decided that was it for me. I fell in love with the industry and started my training and continued working after that.
That's such a mind-opening experience, and I am such a big Harry Potter fan.
Me too. It was a bit of a freak out moment for me as well. I absolutely loved it.
So, do you have anything you're working on at the moment? Obviously, nothing top secret.
It's hard. Anything that's sort of not been announced or released, I can't. You know what it's like with Nathan with NDAs. We can't discuss it. But most recently, thing that's been out is the commercial that you and I did together, Nathan, for Chewy. And then prior to that was Deadpool Wolverine that just came out. So it's been an exciting year.
What's your favourite film you've done and why?
Favourite film, I definitely say Tenet, which was Christopher Nolan directing, just because he's one of my favourite directors. And that became very clear when we were filming. You know, he shoots everything on these huge IMAX film cameras. We do 1 or 2 takes maximum of everything. He's so sure of what he wants. We do everything for real. No green screen, no blue screen. So it's a real breath of fresh air. As much as it's very hard work, it's really worth it.
Yeah. So what was your favourite film you've watched and why?
Favourite film I've watched has to be Meet Joe Black. I absolutely love that film. Brad Pitt is just amazing, and I adore the relationship between Anthony Hopkins and Claire Filani. It's like father-daughter. I just think it's a really gorgeous.
That's sweet. What would be your dream role to play in a film?
My dream role? There's so many options, but it has to be a Bond girl, I think. If I couldn't be James Bond, then at least let me be a Bond girl.
I love the James Bond films because I watched them. I started watching them with my dad like about last year, and we still have to catch up to them, but they're so good.
But they're so iconic, aren't they? They're just the best.
Exactly. They're so action-packed, and it's just like it draws you in immediately, and it's so good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They really are the best.
So what was it like working with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds?
Oh, they're both amazing to work with. They're really, really down to earth, just true gentlemen. Like, it was actually my second time working with Ryan. And, you know, just from day one, he remembered who I was and was just so interested. It's just like, so he must meet so many people, and it's so amazing. He's got such an amazing amount of time for every person on set, and he has such a level of care. They're really great people to work with.
Okay. What was it like living in LA for a bit?
It was amazing to live in LA. I mean, the first thing is obviously the weather is gorgeous. It's sunny every day. There's, you know, it's Hollywood at the end of the day. The whole of LA is geared around the film and entertainment industry. So you just, everywhere you go, you feel like you're on a film set, whether you're at Venice Beach or the Hollywood sign, Sunset Boulevard. It's a gorgeous place, and it was great to have the opportunity to live there for a few years.
I would love to live in America, especially Los Angeles, because like you said, it is sunny all the time.
That is a big win.
Yeah, unlike England, all it does is rain. So So bad.
I know, especially today. It's been pretty miserable, huh?
Yeah, it has.
So what was your first professional job?
My first professional job, my first ever job, I did a paper round when I was about 12. And then I started working at a local theme park. And then when I was 16, I got a job at Abercrombie and Fitch. And then that was where I kind of learned about the modelling industry, really, because a lot of my sort of colleagues there were models and doing that sort of industry. And then I got scouted for a TV show, coming third and getting scouted with my modelling agent. And it kind of all went from there, really.
Coming third, that's so good.
Oh, thank you.
How many people was it out of?
Well, initially thousands auditioned, and I got down to, I think once we started the actual show, it was 90 of us that got through to the final house, and then 13 were picked for the actual house and for the final show, and then from 13 obviously down to 1. But yeah, coming third I was pretty happy with. I remember my audition in London, I queued with my dad for like 6 hours to be seen, and I was thinking, this is impossible, like what am I doing here? I couldn't believe it when I got through.
Motivation.
That's the prime example of what it can be like in this industry with auditions. You just never know. You really just never know what they're looking for. And if you happen to be that right person, then it's amazing. So stick with it. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it.
A bit off topic, but if you were stranded on a desert island, what 3 things would you bring with you?
This is a tough one. If I'd be allowed to bring my boyfriend and my dog, I absolutely would. Because then all we need is a pack of Monopoly Deal, the card game, and we'd be happily playing that forever. But if I couldn't bring them, I think I'd have to be some of the Harry Potter books.
Which one?
My favourite is Prisoner of Azkaban. I just think I don't know, I just love that story for me is just the best, I think.
So how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
How would I describe myself in 3 words? Good question. I guess I'd like to think, I suppose if it's other people describe me, I'd like to think they would say that I was outgoing, fun, kind. I guess those are, was it outgoing? Does that count as one word, hopefully?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely kind.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
What was your most recent job?
So my most recent job, I think I would have to say it's the commercial we did, Nathan, the Chewy commercial, because that's just come out. That just came out in the start of September, didn't it? Whereas I've obviously done a couple of other jobs since then, but as is always the way with NDAs, unfortunately, I can't talk about them just yet. But watch this space. Hopefully, there'll be some, updates on my Instagram soon, or you might see something. Yeah. So yeah.
So what was the most challenging part of your acting career?
I think the challenging part is having the right mindset sometimes. I think, we do so many auditions, and, for every audition you do, it's probably only, maybe 1 in 10, 1 in 50 that you actually get. And I think that can get to you sometimes. I think, remembering it's not personal, and remembering just sometimes you're just not right for the brief, even if they've called you in. They may go in a totally different direction, but we don't always get told that, or we don't always get that update. So I think it's good to remind yourself of that mindset, to keep a strong mind and to keep positive about it all.
What has been the funniest moment on set?
Funniest moment on set? I think that's such a hard question. I've been really lucky. I think I've always worked with such great teams, and I think, we do such long days. I think keeping the humour alive is very important. I mean, you and Cora were great on Chewy, weren't you, Nathan, with the squeaky chickens? They were going off left, right, and try and keep each other entertained, because it can be a long old day.
Who was your favourite person to work with on the Quaker Chewy advert? Think carefully.
Oh, I wonder. Well, seeing as we're talking right now, I'm going to say obviously it was you, Nathan. But no, I think we were very lucky. We had a great group, didn't we? It was Daniel and Cora and Arwen as well. It was a great team of us.
Yeah, we've got Arwen joining in a few weeks actually, so yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. That'll be great. You should get Nick on as well. Nick Danes, who's our stunt coordinator. He's got a ton of stories to tell you. He'd be very entertaining, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Imogen. We hope you enjoyed it.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
If you would like to follow Imogen's journey, you can follow her on Instagram at Imogen Leaver and on X at Imogen Leaver.
As always, if you have any questions or concerns, or maybe you'd like to be a special guest on one of our podcast episodes, then please contact us on all lowercase skippingthroughtheatre@hotmail.com, and make sure to check us out on socials.
Skipping Through Theatre podcast with Nathan and Maddie.